Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Erin. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Student Recruitment Officer at the UBC Vancouver campus. I'd like to start by acknowledging today that the land that UBC has built its Vancouver campus on, which we work, learn, connect, and innovate, is the unceded ancestral and traditional territory of the Musqueam people, and that the Okanagan campus is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Siouxs peoples. Today, we'll be focusing on some details that you, as an international student, may be interested in learning a little bit more about. And I'll be joined by two current students today who will be able to share their experiences with you. So at UBC, our engineering degree is called the Bachelor of Applied Science. In Canada, there is no standard for naming degrees in engineering. So you might find other schools that have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering or Bachelor of Engineering. But what's important is to make sure that the program is accredited, which means that the program meets the academic requirements so that after students graduate, they can work towards their licensure as a professional engineer in Canada. You won't have to worry about that at UBC, as all of our programs that students graduate from will be accredited. Now, UBC Engineering is one program across two campuses. Regardless of which campus you're attending, you'll start in the foundational first year to learn about the courses that are the foundation of your engineering degree, so chemistry, physics, math, and English. And at the Okanagan campus, you'll choose the program that you're most interested in to continue into for your second year. There are no caps on the programs. However, as computer engineering is a new program at this campus, there will be a limited cohort in the first year, and more details will be available about this program in the spring of 2024. At the Vancouver campus, there are 14 different disciplines that are shown on the slide here. Students also apply for their discipline at the end of their first year. And at the Vancouver campus, students will go through what's called the second year placement process, which is a competitive process to place you into the programs that you rank. Students at both campuses will learn lots more about the placement process at their campus throughout their first year. We also highly recommend starting at the campus that you plan to graduate from. As an international student coming to UBC Engineering, there's so much for you to look forward to throughout your degree. We've already covered some of the exciting things that will be a part of your student experience in the Why Engineering presentation that you can watch again in the replay in this event or through our YouTube playlist. One thing that we're definitely proud of is our reputation. World University rankings recognize the University of British Columbia for its excellence in teaching and research, as well as its global impact. UBC Engineering also ranks very well compared to engineering programs in Canada. So for the 2023 Maclean's ranked UBC Engineering as the #1 engineering program in Canada. We have the largest co-op program in Western Canada, which is an optional program. And one of the unique things about our co-op program is that it does charge the same fee for domestic and international students, something that you may not see across many other institutions in Canada. You've probably also interacted with quite a few of our professors throughout the open house over the last few days who are amazing and so supportive of our students. Maybe you saw them through the research spotlights. Maybe you talked with them in one of our expo booths. But many of them have also won awards within the engineering profession, specifically for their skills in teaching or for their exceptional research. Now, of course, we know that the tuition of our international students can be costly, which is why we are proud to offer some scholarships and awards. So international secondary students who demonstrate exceptional academic achievement and strong extracurricular and community involvement will automatically be considered for the merit awards valued at up to $25,000 per year. Need and merit-based awards are available through UBC's International Scholars Program. You won't select which award you wish to receive when you submit your application, as our team will automatically consider you for the awards that you're eligible for. To be eligible for these International Scholars Awards, you will need to be nominated by your school or a nonprofit by November 15th. And scholarship decisions are made mid-March to end of April, around the same time that you can expect to receive an offer of admission. Many of our students will also support their tuition by working as a work-learn student throughout their degree, which allows you well-paid work experience in a professional setting or in a research lab. That's all part-time while you're in classes. And then the co-op program, which you can go into starting at the beginning of your second or third year, is also an option to gain engineering work experience while getting paid. The rest of the session today is going to be open for Q&A for you to get all of your questions about life as a UBC engineering student answered. So I'm going to have our students introduce themselves to start with, and then you will be able to ask any questions that you have in the Q&A today. I do want to mention on the screen here that there are some additional resources. So yu.ubc.ca is our general website for anything about admissions to UBC. We also have our engineering specific sites for the Vancouver campus and the Okanagan campus. And then we also have some students that are part of our engineering stories team. So if you want to learn more about what life is like as a student in engineering at either the Vancouver or Okanagan campus, I highly encourage you to check out our engineering stories team on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, or all three. And you can see more about what their life is like in the reels and the TikToks that they post. You can also comment and chat with them about any further questions that you have. We have some international students on that team this year. We have some domestic students. And like I said, we have students from both campuses on there as well to share their experiences. All right, so I'm going to stop my screen sharing for now. All right, sorry, just get my screen sorted. So we should have one other student joining us. I know that they were just finishing in the student experience session. So they should be joining us soon. But I'll get Medhini, if you'd like to turn on your camera and mic. So I'll get you to give an introduction of kind of who you are, what your program is, what campus you're from, maybe what your most exciting thing about UBC engineering is for you.
Yeah, for sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Madani and my pronouns are she, her. I'm in my fifth year of biomedical engineering at the Vancouver campus. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but I grew up moving around a lot. So I lived in different countries like Cameroon, Nigeria, Yemen, but I spent most of my time growing up in Nigeria before moving to Canada for undergrad. Um, I've always been interested in improving quality of life and integrating technology into healthcare. So biomedical engineering was a perfect bridge between both of my interests. So that's why I chose biomedical engineering. And I think for UBC engineering, ever since I started here 4 years ago, it's been pretty exciting. There are a lot of opportunities that was available for me to improve my skills. I think first year I was in a design team called UBC MEST that was focused on developing medical devices. And then towards the end of my first year, I started my own nonprofit called Medic Foundation, which is a research organization. And then January of this year, I started another charity organization called Global Outreach. And I was also part of the co-op program, and I just finished it in April as well. So I worked at companies like Seahawks Robotics and Caden Carmana. So I was able to gain a lot of different experience to improve my technical and soft skills as well. Yeah, just a little bit about me, and I'm excited to share my experience with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Medhini, I'll go on to my first question for you. So, what is maybe one piece of advice that you received as a high school student that helped you choose engineering as your degree?
Yeah, for sure. So the advice that I that I heard and I followed was choosing a degree that aligned well with my interest and passion. So engineering itself is pretty diverse and challenging field as well. So there will be a specific area within engineering that will resonate you and that you can explore. So from my personal experiences, so my grandfather is a doctor in Sri Lanka, so I grew up learning a lot about his experience in the medical field, which inspired me to learn more about healthcare. And then after I got into high school, I was introduced to designing and technical courses, which sparked my interest to learn more about engineering and technology. So I wanted to sort of merge both of my interests, and that's why I decided to pursue biomedical engineering as well. And just a personal example of how I ended up choosing engineering based on my interest. But even if you know that you want to choose engineering, but you're not sure about the different disciplines, that's also okay because a lot of our first year courses are general courses that will introduce you to the different disciplines that we have as well. So you'll have a lot of opportunities during first year to network and learn more about the different disciplines that are here.
Awesome. Thank you. That's so great to hear. So I do see a couple questions coming into the Q&A. A few of them are admissions-based, so I will answer a couple of those, and then we'll come back to some more questions for you, Manhini, about your student experience. So the first question I see is about that the process to get into UBC engineering is competitive. As international students, do you compete with Canadian students or only among international students? So I can let you know that we do in engineering, we have about 30% of our students are international students. We do consider all students comparatively. So we are looking at various different pieces for assessing admissions for our international students as well as for our Canadian students as well. So we're looking into all of those different sorts of pieces when we're assessing you for admission. If you watched the admissions presentation yesterday, you would also know that you can put two choices on your application. So you can apply to engineering at the Vancouver campus as well as engineering at the Okanagan campus as well. So that gives you an option to consider two different options for applying. The one thing that I also didn't explicitly go into, but we did talk a little bit about in the admissions presentation yesterday, is that we do have the Vantage program. So that is if you are not quite meeting the English language requirements that we have, you can still start out to complete some of those English requirements in your first year before going into your second year of study. So great question. Hopefully that helps provide an answer for what you were looking for. So Alkashir, maybe you want to give an introduction to yourself about who you are, what program you're in, what campus you're in, and kind of maybe what you love about UBC engineering.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Alfishira Najma Fiza. I am in my second year mechanical engineering at UBC Okanagan campus. So nice to meet you all.
And what's your favorite thing about UBC engineering?
UBC engineering has a very great academic settings. I like the professor here. The community is smaller, and I do have a lot of opportunity, of course, in UBC Okanagan campus.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Alkashira, the question that I have for you to get us started is if you can let me know, what was the biggest challenge that you had coming to study in Canada?
Okay, when we move to like new environment, city or country, we should experience culture shock. The biggest challenge in coming to study in Canada for me was the significant transition and how to adapt to many things, adapt with the weather, the system of teaching learning, the culture, and then we also need to a lot of time to handle this. As I had never studied abroad before and was new to using English in academic settings, adapting to Canadian academic environment. However, choosing to study abroad has been one of my best decisions. And in terms of biggest challenge, I would say it was my academic journey as an engineering student. To overcome this, I took the several steps like seeking support. I actively sought support when I needed. This includes seeking help from professors, teaching assistant, academic advisor when I encountered difficulties or had questions, and also time management and planning ahead. Given that English is my second language, I recognize the importance of dedicating more time to my studies, processing information, and understanding course materials can take longer. So effective time management was essential. I also realized that planning ahead was crucial. This involved creating a study schedule and setting goals to stay on top of my coursework. Also, I love to connect with upper year students. I reach out to upper year students who already experienced what I was going through. They provide valuable advices, tips, and tricks on how to excel in our engineering courses. Of course, this academic challenge has been a significant part of my journey, but it has also been a great opportunity for my personal and academic growth.
Awesome. Thank you. I definitely think you bring up a great point as well. There are so many resources available to all students. So whether you're a domestic or international student, there are so many advising resources. There are opportunities to talk with your professors through any of their office hours, or to chat with them after class, or to send them emails. They usually get back to you pretty quickly as well, from my experience. So there are lots of resources available to you, whether that's mental health support, getting involved in clubs and teams, and all those sorts of things as well. There's a couple more questions specific to admission, so I'll address those quickly. So for the question about early admission or early decision, so for students studying a Canadian curriculum, so if you are an international student studying a Canadian curriculum, you can be offered a first round offer of admission if you apply by December 1st. If you are studying an international curriculum, then you would need to apply by January 15th. Most of our students will get an offer of admission in usually about March or April or so is when you can expect that. Once you do apply to UBC, within about 6 weeks, you'll receive an email with more information about what you need to submit to UBC, when you need to submit those documents, and all of that sort of information. So that'll be kind of your first contact back from UBC. And then it's really just your application is sitting waiting for us to assess it. And because it is a comparative process, we do wait for more applications to come in. And so, like I said, most students can expect to hear back from us about an admission decision in March or April. So maybe I'll ask you, Madhini, as well. I just asked Alkashira this question, but it just popped up about what has been the biggest challenge to come as an international student to Canada. So maybe, Madhini, if you want to share what your experience has been.
Yeah, for sure. I think my biggest problem is I would say because I hadn't been to Canada before. I came here for undergrad, so I didn't know anybody or didn't even have family members close by. So like you mentioned, like being away from the family, this was my first time as well, so that was pretty difficult at the beginning. But then down the road, I participated in the orientation the first time. And then I was also part of the pre-biomed, the timetable. So a lot of my current friends, I actually met them during my first year. They were either my roommate, met them through my orientation group, or a lot of my classes as well. Especially in engineering, because you tend to follow the standard timetable. You'll see a lot of people with common classes, with a lot of group projects together. So a lot of the friendships that you've sort of form will be definitely from first year as well, and that tend to stay for a long time, which is great. So yeah, just not knowing anybody, but then after I came here, being meeting a lot of people from different backgrounds, I think that's definitely a lot of the highlights I've had here.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right. So if anyone else has any other questions, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A, whether that's student experience questions for Madhini or Algashira, or if you have any questions for anything about admissions as well, I'm happy to answer those. So please feel free to use the Q&A. All right, so I do have another couple of questions. Alkashir, maybe you can start with this, but how are you able to find your community at UBC? How did you find your people or who you hang out with?
Okay. As I said before in my previous session, as an international student, coping with separation from home and family can be challenging aspect of my experience. To address these feelings of homesickness, loneliness, I found that one effective strategy is seek out welcoming communities and clubs that align with our interests. At UBC, there are a lot of options here, hundreds of clubs. I've actively participated in Muslim Student Association UBC, where during my first year I served as first year representative, and now I continue my involvement. Joining a club can be highly rewarding experience for several reasons, such as it provides opportunities to expand our network. You'll have the chance to meet and connect with new individuals from different backgrounds, and involvement in various project events within the club can help develop our leadership and communication skills. In addition to that, I also involved in undergraduate research opportunities when I served as mentee working on research projects. For those looking to connect with these communities easily, I can say keep a regular check on UBC student life resources like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Also, the website is very nice. attend club events to gain deeper understanding of their activities and how they relate to your interests. And of course, don't hesitate to reach out directly to the club executive through social media or other communication channels to ask questions and express your interest. Above all, be proactive in your approach to joining clubs and communities. Participating in clubs is worthwhile, and you might come to regret spending your entire 4 years solely on like study. So yeah, I should definitely suggest you guys to join clubs and programs.
Awesome. Medhini, maybe you want to elaborate on that too. I know you've been involved in a lot of really exciting projects throughout your degree. That maybe was some way that you were able to find community, or anything else that you'd like to share with students.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the people that I know currently are definitely from also from first year, and also different design teams and organizations that I've been part of throughout the year. So like I mentioned before, first year I was part of the UBC MEST design team. And that's where I was able to connect with a lot of senior students and get to know more about, sort of get their feedback on how I should approach studying, because the way I studied in high school is definitely different from the way I study currently. So I was able to get a lot of sort of suggestions from them, and then learn more about the different ways to approach engineering classes. And then towards the end of my first year, I sort of medic, like I was mentioned before, and a lot of the people in the organization, we are sort of similar, like have the mindset. So medic is focused on just developing devices and raising awareness about chronic diseases, very specific to biomedical engineering. So a lot of the members that we have, they either know somebody with, for example, cancer, or currently have diabetes. So it's very interesting to see people with similar mission to sort of revolutionize the way that we approach chronic disease. So that was sort of like an sort of, it's nice to see that everybody's passionate about creating a positive impact in community. And a lot of the projects that we do for medic, we do locally and globally as well. So it's great to have that experience of doing project management and partnership development, things like that. And also the Global Outreach Project, which is a charity organization. It's a very interdisciplinary project, same thing with medic as well. So we don't just work with biomedical engineering students, we work with electrical and computer engineering. So you will see that interdisciplinary research is very common when you come to engineering, especially at UBC as well, and also with the Faculty of Science and different faculties as well. So it's I think when you come here, you'll see that a lot of the collaborations is highlighted through either classwork or your extracurricular activities. So you'll meet a lot of people, have a lot of opportunity to network as well, especially if you're looking to expand your professional connections. If you're coming here for the first time, being part of different design teams and organization, and also the co-op program, you'll be able to expand your professional network connections.
Awesome. So I see a few more questions coming in. We do have about 5 minutes left in this session. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to get them into that Q&A. There's a couple questions about admission. So again, I'll take a break to answer those. So can you apply for scholarships without being admitted yet? So yes, if you're applying to UBC, you'll be applying to those scholarships now as well. You won't find out about your admission likely until March or April, which is typically about the same time you'd find out about if you receive one of those scholarships. However, there's lots of opportunities to apply for external scholarships that you may be eligible for as well. So do make sure that you're looking out for those. Those will have timelines anywhere starting from now all the way until the summer or during the school year as well, that you can apply for those external scholarships, which are scholarships outside of UBC available to students. So you may want to check out that. And again, you can apply for those before you've been admitted. Usually it's as long as you're intending to start in the coming year. So great question for that. Another question, if I'm graduating in Canada, but I'm still an international student and the report card of my home, is the report card of my home country still important? Do you recommend also have a reference letter of some of my teachers? So when you apply to UBC, we will ask for references. We just are asking for their name and phone number in case we need to verify anything from your application. No letters of reference are required. In terms of providing your transcripts, once you apply, we're going to ask for the required transcript. So we'll let you know what is required. It typically depends on whether you have completed any grade 11 and grade 12 courses in your home country, depending on when you came to Canada. If you studied at a school that was taught in English, then we may need to look at that as well for your English language requirement. So there's a few pieces where we would look at it. It depends, again, on when you move to Canada and if we would consider that. But the great news is that once you have applied to UBC, our admissions team will let you know what you need to send and when you need to send it. So another question, if we initially opt for International Scholars Award during the application process, but we don't receive consideration, will you automatically be considered for the merit-based scholarships in such a scenario? So if you are providing the necessary, so if you're nominated by your school or nonprofit by November 15th, you will be considered in that International Scholars program. So you would not be able to be considered for both. But I would highly recommend, if you are in need of financial assistance, then definitely going through that route. All right. Another question for the two of you. What is the most interesting part of working with engineers of other specializations? So whether that's through maybe your classes, teams, maybe you just know them as friends and it's interesting talking about different topics. Alkashira, maybe you want to start with that question.
I'm sorry, and can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so what is the most interesting part of working with engineers from other specializations?
Okay, so in Euro, in my club, undergraduate research opportunities, I work with several diverse engineering program, like from electrical, from biomedical, and then it's great because I can learn more that I don't know in my mechanical. So they provide me some insights, and then they also told me about their experiences and then their research projects. So it really rewarding to have like project in diverse backgrounds for me.
Awesome. And Medhini, maybe you want to elaborate on that from your experience?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just like she said, being able to work with different disciplines within engineering, you also tend to learn more about their skills as well. You may not be familiar with them. So, from my personal experience, I hadn't done a lot of programming or taken any programming classes in high school. But then when I came into UBC engineering, I met a lot of like first year students, and they knew programming. They knew like Java and MATLAB. So I was actually fascinated about that because I hadn't done programming, especially in like high school specifically. So I worked with a couple of them for classes and also for different like extracurricular design teams and projects. So while working with them, I learned more about the tips and tricks and how you can code, what is the easiest way to do that. So it was sort of like helping each other in that way and sort of exchanging that knowledge as well. And I also met a lot of mining students who were interested to learn more about biomedical engineering and what are the ways to approach developing medical devices. So I was able to help out with that as well. So it's really that part about exchanging, teaching each other the skills and experience. And you will notice that when you come into UBC engineering, a lot of students are willing to teach each other and just learn from each other as well. So yeah, that's how that was the highlight about working with different engineering disciplines.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for being here today. We only have about a minute or two left. So my last question for both of you is if you could provide any advice to any of the international students here considering coming to UBC engineering in the future, what sort of advice would you give to them? Or maybe what sort of advice would you have wanted to hear when you were in their same shoes making those decisions? Alkashira, I'll get you to start.
So yeah, as an international student, I think it's crucial to set long-term goals from very first day on campus, even in your first term. When you define your objective and create roadmap, you can gradually work towards them through well-planned steps. This approach allows you to make like the most of your time productively because you know exactly what you are working towards. Additionally, I just want to remind prospective students to don't hesitate to approach professor because they can be valuable allies for your academic journey. Be proactive, never hesitate to reach out for guidance, and they can provide insights, support, and opportunities you won't want to miss. Make the most of your time by getting involved in campus life, making friends, and joining clubs because your university experience is what make you of your it. And so embrace this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. And Medhini, what piece of advice would you like to give everyone watching today?
Yeah, I would say to explore the resources that we have at UBC Engineering as well, whether it's about getting involved with design teams or even classes wise, what are the technical electives that are out there for any specific discipline that you're interested in. It would be great to sort of get started with just looking at it. And if you have any questions, you'll have opportunities to sort of even reaching out to your professors during classes and just going into their office hours and getting their tips on maybe if you have any questions, you're interested in learning more about mechanical engineering. And there'll be a lot of professors, especially in first year engineering, who will be an expert in that area. So you can talk to them, get their feedback as well. And yeah, if you're interested in different programs that we have, like co-op or Glow Global, you can sort of get search about that and connect with students when you come here, especially senior students. They'll be happy to help you out, give you any suggestions as well. So really that networking part and checking out the different resources that we have here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us. Thank you to everyone that was watching today for spending your Saturday morning or evening or afternoon or whatever time it may be for you, wherever you're joining us from. We do have lots of resources as well. So if you haven't taken a minute yet to scroll down on your screen, there are several links about scholarships, the tuition calculator, and all of that sort of stuff on the bottom of your screen. I will also mention that if you're looking to get in touch with more current students throughout the year, we do have our ambassador program that has students from both the Okanagan and the Vancouver campus, where you can start a chat with these students online. So definitely recommend going over to, if you look at the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see Start Your Future at UBC Engineering. If you go there, you can click on the Chat with a Student feature, and you can start a chat with any of our ambassadors that are happy to chat with you about their design teams, about their experiences. You can see what countries they're from. Maybe someone's from your country. You can see what programs they're in. So it's a great way to kind of start a connection with someone before you even get to UBC. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Huge thank you to Medhini and Al-Kashira for joining me this morning to share more about your experiences. I really appreciate your time here. And I hope that everyone has a great rest of their day. So thank you so much.
Thank you.